Capricorn.
The transfer has already begun. Chosen one, pause right here. Take a deep breath. Something sacred is happening in the realm of your life, and it is not random. What you are about to walk into is going to shake the very foundation of your family's understanding. They will look at you and not recognize the version of you that's emerging. Why? Because God has been working behind the scenes in silence, and now He is about to make it loud. Your family is about to see something they cannot explain, but heaven already confirmed it. What's coming into your hands isn't logical, isn't conventional, and isn't going to fit into human reasoning. Because what's coming into your life is spiritually engineered and heaven-funded. You've waited, you've been patient, you've suffered quietly, and now, God is declaring from His throne, it's time. This is not hype. This is not some motivational speech. This is a prophetic announcement, a divine download that confirms what your spirit already knows. You were made for this moment. Something supernatural is being released over you. The transfer has already begun, and it's going to cause those who knew your past to question everything they thought they understood about God's timing, God's favor, and God's chosen. Stay with me until the end of this message, because by the time we're finished, you will understand why the world will soon look at your life and say, that had to be God. No man could have arranged it. No system could have predicted it. No resume could have justified it. Because what's unfolding now is not man-made, it's miracle assigned. And I need you to understand something foundational as we begin. You are not manifesting this. You are not forcing it. You are not creating it by effort alone. No, you are receiving what was already appointed to you in the courts of heaven. This is not about hustle. This is about inheritance. This is not the result of chance. It is the reward of divine choice. You were pre-approved by the Most High, and now the time has come for the release. The transfer is not coming. It has already started. If your spirit bears witness to this, if something in you knows this word was written in your name, comment 111 below as a prophetic sign of alignment. That number isn't random. It's the number of divine agreement, of oneness between you and heaven's timing. Let it be your declaration that you're not waiting any longer. You're walking in what God already released. Chapter 1. You were never broke, just delayed. What if I told you that your poverty was never the end? Chosen one, listen closely, because what you called being broke was never a reflection of your worth. It was never the final chapter. It was simply a part of the divine storyline, a scene in the script where heaven was testing the strength of your obedience. See, to the natural eye, it may have looked like lack. It may have felt like delay, but in the spiritual realm, something powerful was happening. God was hiding your wealth in plain sight, not to tease you, but to train you, not to punish you, but to position you. Proverbs 13 verse 22 declares, "The wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just." That means your inheritance was never missing. It was simply being stored. Heaven's vault had your name etched into its locks. But access required something deeper than ambition. It required obedience. And every time you chose faith over fear, every time you praised when it hurt, every time you stayed in alignment instead of giving in to shortcuts, you were turning that spiritual key. You didn't even know it, but your silent endurance was unlocking doors in heaven. What looked like denial was really divine delay. What felt like rejection was actually redirection. You weren't abandoned, you were being preserved. You weren't punished, you were being prepared. And while the world looked at your situation and saw brokenness, God saw readiness. You see, delay does not equal denial. Delay is heaven's way of protecting you until the timing is perfect. And that time, chosen one, is now. This is the moment when you must stop calling yourself broke. Because even in your emptiness, God was still your supply. Even when your bank account said zero, your faith account was growing with interest. You were never without value. You were never without purpose. You were hidden for impact, preserved for legacy, protected for divine release. And now that the spiritual maturity has caught up with your assignment, heaven is saying, it's time. So say this with me, I was never abandoned. I was being preserved for divine timing. Chapter 2. When heaven funds it, earth must obey. God is funding your next season. No cosigner needed. Chosen one, I need you to grasp something that will shift your entire mindset. When heaven funds it, earth has no choice but to submit. What God approves in the spiritual realm cannot be blocked by human systems. There is no credit check, no loan officer, no boardroom approval needed. Because when God writes the check, no one can cancel the transaction. Malachi 3 verse 10 declares, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing that there shall not be room enough to receive it. That's not poetic language, that's divine economics. That's the kingdom reminding you that your supply is not bound by recession, inflation, or the instability of worldly wealth. While the systems of man operate on limitation, heaven operates on overflow. And when God decides to pour, there is no faucet on earth that can stop it. You've been taught to think small, to calculate based on your bank balance, your salary, or what others say you can afford. But God says, I'm not consulting earth's numbers. I'm operating from eternal resources. The natural economy might say no, but the spiritual economy says, approved without delay. This next season of your life isn't going to be powered by loans, handouts, or man's permission. It will be funded entirely by the favor of God. You've been qualified not by your resume, but by your resilience. And here's the revelation. What would have taken you 10 years to build is about to manifest in 10 days. What people said you didn't qualify for is about to land in your lap because God signed off on it. Divine acceleration is now in motion. The contracts, the keys, the resources, they're being handed to you because God said it's time. You won't need to knock on every door begging to be seen. The right doors will swing open on command because God is the architect of your advancement. No cosigner, no explanation, no apology. You are entering a heaven-funded season. And when heaven funds it, earth must obey. Systems shift, people bend, laws move, protocols change. Because what is born of God overrides what was built by man. So say it with me now in faith. I don't need a loan. I've already been approved by the kingdom. What took years will happen in minutes because God wrote the check. Chapter 3. This will shock your family. Your elevation will be the evidence of your hidden faith. Chosen one, get ready, because what God is about to do in your life will shock those closest to you. I'm not talking about a small change that people can rationalize. I'm talking about a divine elevation so undeniable, so supernatural, so unexplainable, that your own family, the very people who watched you struggle, will be left speechless. They'll look at you and ask, how did this happen? When did this happen? Who helped you do this? And you'll be able to say, no one but God. See, your family didn't see the midnight tears you cried. They didn't hear the early morning prayers. They didn't witness the nights you went without so you could stay faithful. They didn't know how often you felt like giving up, but didn't. While others were chasing recognition, you were choosing obedience. While they mocked, you worshipped. While they laughed, you labored in silence. And now, just like Matthew 6 verse 6 says, your Father who sees in secret will reward you openly. This wealth transfer, this spiritual promotion, this outpouring of divine provision will be your visible validation. It's not just money, it's transformation, it's legacy, it's proof that God was with you in the drought, and now He's bringing you into the flood. The people who thought you missed your moment will soon realize you were the moment. They overlooked you because they couldn't see what God was doing behind the curtain. But now He's pulling back the veil. Your family will be forced to recalculate their perception of you. Because what's about to manifest will not align with your past, but it will align perfectly with God's promise. They won't be able to deny it. They'll see you in rooms they never thought you'd enter, handling resources they never thought you'd touch, operating in authority they never thought you'd carry. And they'll know this had to be God. But wait, there's something deeper. There's a reason you were chosen for this and not them. There's a reason the mantle fell on your shoulders. There's a reason the wealth is being transferred into your hands. Because God saw something in you that no one else did. He saw your endurance. He saw your character. He saw your heart posture when nobody else was watching. This isn't favoritism. It's faith recognition. And God is now honoring what you did when nobody clapped, nobody helped, and nobody believed. Your elevation is not random. It's a divine announcement, and it will leave your family in awe. So get ready to walk into rooms they never believed you'd enter, because what's coming next will not only bless you, it will redefine your entire bloodline. Chapter 4. You are the family financier. You were chosen to rewrite the bloodline. Chosen one, it's time to understand the weight and the wonder of your assignment. You were not just born into your family. You were planted there by divine strategy, not to blend in, not to repeat generational patterns, but to break them and rebuild what was never finished. You were chosen not to survive the family's struggle, but to fund their future. You are the financier of your bloodline. Deuteronomy 28 verse 12 declares, "You shall lend and not borrow." That is not just a financial command, it is a spiritual identity. You were never meant to live in lack. You were never meant to be at the mercy of broken systems. You were chosen to walk in overflow, not for ego, not for indulgence, but for assignment. You are the Joseph of your generation, betrayed, misunderstood, exiled, but divinely positioned to handle heaven's resources in a time of famine. The time is coming, and it is closer than you think, when your family will look to you not just for advice or emotional support, but for answers, for provision, for strategy, for leadership. You are the family banker, not by title but by anointing. Heaven has trusted you with the burden of restructuring the financial DNA of your lineage. You are no longer just a receiver, you are a manager of God's wealth on earth. But hear this clearly, the wealth coming to you is not just about cash. That's the smallest part of it. You are being given authority, the power to shift atmospheres. You are being given land because your feet are about to stand on soil that belongs to your legacy. You are being given favor, access that money can't buy. You are being given influence, divine connections, strategic partnerships, and open doors that only God could orchestrate. And yet, let me warn you, because this next part is critical, wealth without wisdom becomes a curse. You're not just being elevated financially, you're being entrusted spiritually. The same wealth that can bless your bloodline can also destroy it, if not stewarded through wisdom. And that is why God waited until now, because your character has finally caught up to your calling. You have been tested, tried, and trained in the dark, and now you're ready to carry what would have crushed others. So walk boldly, chosen one. You're not just a family member anymore. You are the financier. You are the one through whom God will fund restoration, education, opportunity, and healing. You are the new legacy. But don't stop here, because what's coming next is the revelation of how to steward what you've been given. Because wealth alone is not the goal, impact is. Chapter 5. Why the struggle had to come first. God trusted you with suffering, so he could trust you with surplus. Chosen one, let's be honest. There were seasons that nearly broke you. There were nights you cried yourself to sleep wondering if God forgot about you. You felt rejected by people you trusted, delayed in every area of your life, and betrayed by those you loved the most. But what if I told you it was all necessary? Not because God wanted to hurt you, but because he was preparing you to carry something holy. Romans 8 verse 18 says, "For I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us." That means your pain was not pointless. It was pregnant with purpose. Every hardship was building the foundation for the glory that's about to rest on your life. You weren't suffering because God was punishing you. No, chosen one. You were suffering because God was positioning you. See, God doesn't put heavy crowns on untested heads. The weight of what's coming, this wealth, this elevation, this authority, requires someone who knows how to stand when it hurts. And that's you. The fire didn't burn you, it refined you. It burned away the fear. It burned away the ego. It burned away the need for approval. Now all that remains is pure gold, a vessel worthy to carry God's treasure. You were trusted with the valley so you could be trusted with the mountain. God watched you remain faithful when nothing made sense. He saw you worship when you didn't have answers. He saw you give when you barely had enough for yourself. And heaven took notes. Every trial was adding weight to your reward. You weren't being overlooked. You were being overbuilt for what's next. And now, chosen one, the time has come. The pressure has produced power. The affliction has produced access. What once felt like death was actually the doorway into your divine destiny. You had to go through the struggle so you would never forget where the strength comes from. Because now that the surplus is coming, your humility will protect your harvest. And hear this prophetic truth. Heaven is about to repay everything hell tried to destroy. Every year the locusts stole, every relationship that collapsed, every dream that was delayed. God is about to restore with interest. You didn't suffer in vain. You suffered in preparation. And now the payback is on heaven's schedule. Stay with me because what comes next is the supernatural reversal that only God can explain. Chapter 6. This is a heavenly transfer, not man-made. The wealth that's coming isn't earned. It's inherited. Chosen one, let this truth settle deep into your spirit. What's about to come into your life is not the result of your hustle. It's the release of your heritage. You didn't strive for this. You didn't network your way into this. You didn't build this with man's approval. This is a heavenly inheritance. It was written into your spiritual DNA before you ever had a need. You're not walking into something new, you're walking into something prepared. Psalm 105 verse 44 says, He gave them the lands of the nations, and they inherited what others had toiled for. Did you catch that? God didn't tell them to earn it. He gave it. This kind of wealth, kingdom wealth, isn't something you labor for. It's something you inherit by divine alignment. The world may say, you didn't work for this. And you'll be able to say, you're right. I was born into it by faith. You are about to step into blessings that will make others uncomfortable, not because you brag, but because they won't understand how someone like you, someone they saw struggle, someone they counted out, could now be holding such abundance. But chosen one, you don't owe anyone an explanation. You're not required to justify what heaven approved. Man didn't write the check. God did. This is a supernatural transaction, a divine deposit, and no one gets to sign off on what only heaven can authorize. You are not walking in man-made success. You are stepping into covenant wealth. This is legacy wealth, meant not just for you, but for your children and your children's children. This is land you didn't pay for, resources you didn't build, influence you didn't manipulate your way into. It's not based on your hustle. It's based on your spiritual lineage. But let me give you this prophetic warning. Don't let Pharaoh's house tempt you to return. Don't let comfort pull you back into compromise. Don't let old systems try to recruit you back into their bondage just because you've been elevated. Egypt may offer you a seat at the table, but God's building you a throne in the promised land. The wealth that's coming isn't meant to decorate your ego. It's meant to fund your purpose. So stand tall. This isn't charity. It's not pity. This is inheritance. And what God gives, no man can revoke. Hold on, because next we're going deeper into why your elevation must be public. Not for pride, but for divine validation. Chapter 7. This blessing is public for a reason. God is revealing His glory through your story. Chosen one, listen carefully. What's about to happen in your life will not be a secret. This blessing will be public. This elevation will be visible. God is making a spectacle of your story on purpose. Why? Because He's not just blessing you for your own comfort. He's using your life as a living testimony to prove that He still keeps His promises. Matthew 5 verse 16 says, Let your light so shine before others, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father in heaven. That means this elevation isn't vanity, it's validation. It's not about you being seen. It's about Him being known through you. Every door that opens, every level you ascend, every miracle you walk into, is proof that God still rewards obedience, still honors faithfulness, and still remembers His children. Yes, people will mock. They'll doubt. They'll try to discredit you. Some will say you must have manipulated something to get ahead. Others will accuse you of faking it. But they won't be able to deny the fruit. And when the fruit shows up, the favor, the overflow, the undeniable breakthrough, it will silence every critic. Because the evidence will speak louder than the rumors ever could. This is not about stunting for social media or proving anything to your enemies. This is about demonstrating the power of a faithful God. God is about to put you on display not to boost your ego, but to exalt His name. He's showing off through your life so that others, especially those who gave up on their own faith, can see what's possible when you stay aligned with heaven. But hear this in the spirit: the spotlight is not the goal. The influence is not the end. The platform is a tool, because what you do with the wealth will matter more than how you got it. The next chapter of this journey isn't just about receiving, it's about stewarding. And in the next few moments, I'm going to show you exactly why you've been entrusted, not just blessed. Stay with me, because if you mishandle what's coming next, you could delay what was meant to last generations. But if you handle it correctly, your life will fund movements, change nations, and build eternal legacies. Chapter 8, you are now a builder of the kingdom. You're not just blessed, you're being equipped. Chosen one, the blessing that's coming into your life is not just for celebration, it's for construction. God is not just elevating you so you can live comfortably. He's equipping you to build what others tore down, to restore what others neglected, and to fund what heaven has already ordained. Isaiah 61 verse 4 says, "They will rebuild the ancient ruins and restore the places long devastated." That's you. That's your assignment. That's your mantle. You are not just being resourced, you are being responsibilized. You're not being handed coins to collect, you're being handed tools to create legacy. The wealth, the land, the connections, the favor, they're not just for you to enjoy. They are for you to deploy. God is placing blueprints in your spirit and placing bricks in your hand. Now it's time to build. You've been called to fund ministries that will set captives free. You've been anointed to restore broken communities that have been forgotten by man but remembered by God. You've been chosen to launch visions that were aborted by fear in past generations, but now, through your obedience, will finally be born. This is bigger than you. This is kingdom business. This is apostolic authority in the realm of finances. This is divine architecture in motion. And here's the truth. God gave you wealth because He knew He could trust you with purpose. He knew you wouldn't hoard it, worship it, or use it to prove a point. He knew you would pour it back into what matters most: souls, healing, revival, transformation. You're not just collecting earthly riches, you're building eternal reward. But now, a holy warning: don't forget who you were before the wealth came. Don't let the blessing blind you to the process. Don't let the overflow erase your memory of the drought. Stay rooted. Stay grateful. Stay grounded in the spirit that carried you through the wilderness. Because if you forget where you came from, you'll mishandle where you're going. The next season isn't just about building for God. It's about building with Him. And in the next chapter, we'll uncover why humility must walk with every step you take, or the very thing God gave you could become the thing that leads you astray. Chapter 9. Don't let wealth erase your humility. Remain low, even when heaven lifts you high. Chosen one, this next part is sacred. Listen closely. The greatest danger after the blessing is forgetting the one who gave it. It's easy to cry out to God in the valley, but when you're standing on the mountaintop with your hands full, will you still bow? Deuteronomy 8 verse 18 gives us the reminder we all need. Remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to get wealth. Not your degree, not your connections, not your hustle. God gave the power. God wrote the check. God opened the doors. So when the wealth arrives, and it will, stay low. Remain humble. Don't let the comfort of the promise make you forget the pain of the process. Because pride is not just loud and boastful, it's subtle. It creeps in when you begin to think you earned this on your own. When you start moving without consulting God. When you shift from "Lord, lead me," to "I've got this now." Chosen one, don't be deceived. The transfer that's coming is not for indulgence. It's for impact. It's not so you can flex, it's so you can fund. It's not so you can be admired, it's so you can advance the kingdom. God didn't bless you to build your name, He blessed you to lift His. And the moment you start to confuse your platform with His purpose, you risk forfeiting what was meant to last generations. Stay in alignment. Stay submitted. Stay kingdom-minded. Keep your posture low even as your name rises. Because the moment you lose humility, you lose the protection that comes with it. Pride opens the door for spiritual sabotage. But humility, Humility keeps the oil flowing. Humility keeps heaven's favor attached to your name. And now, let me prepare you for what's coming next. Because the next test won't be poverty. It will be power. Not lack, but influence. Not emptiness, but excess. And how you handle that power will determine whether you multiply or miscarry the mantle that's been placed on your life. So stay with me, because in the next chapter, we're going to explore your new assignment as heaven's financial strategist, and why wisdom, not just wealth, must guide your every move. Chapter 10. The divine strategy has shifted. Your assignment has evolved. You are now a kingdom financier. Chosen one, everything about your identity is shifting. You are no longer just the visionary sitting in silence, praying for breakthrough. You are no longer the dreamer waiting for a door to open. You are now the executor of divine strategy. You are the distributor of heaven's resources. What you once prayed for, you are now responsible to pour out. You've been trusted with more, not because you're better, but because you endured the testing that proved you were ready. Heaven has repositioned you. You're moving from receiver to releaser, from one who begged for a seat at the table to one who builds the table for others to sit at. The resources coming into your life aren't just for security or comfort. They are tools for divine execution. You're now overseeing provision meant to move nations, fund missions, birth movements, and restore what religion couldn't reach. God is trusting you with more than money. He's trusting you with territory, real land that will be used to establish kingdom influence. He's trusting you with businesses that carry prophetic purpose. He's trusting you with souls, lives that are going to be impacted because of your obedience. Every dollar is now a weapon for the kingdom. Every opportunity is now a mantle to steward. This is no longer about your personal goals. It's about God's global glory. And you must declare this in your spirit today. Heaven is not funding my feelings. It's funding my function. This wealth isn't showing up just because you cried. It's showing up because you were called. It's not emotional, it's eternal. God isn't resourcing your comfort, He's resourcing your calling. But now comes the crucial moment, because many can receive, but few know how to protect what God gives. The anointing attracts blessings, yes, but it also attracts battles. And if you are not equipped to steward and guard what's being placed in your hands, the very gift meant to build could become the very thing the enemy tries to steal. So stay with me, chosen one, because next we are stepping into the battlefield of blessings. I'm going to show you how to guard your divine inheritance from spiritual sabotage, deception, and unnecessary loss, because you've come too far to forfeit now. Chapter 11. How to guard your inheritance. What God gives, the enemy will try to steal, but he's already too late. Chosen one, let me speak this clearly. Every elevation must be protected. Every transfer, every breakthrough, every divine resource that enters your life comes with a new level of spiritual responsibility. The same God who releases the blessing also calls you to guard it. Why? Because the enemy doesn't attack empty hands. He attacks what carries value. Psalm 91 reminds us, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That secret place is your shield. It is not just a quiet time, it is a war room. You must now understand that guarding your inheritance means staying hidden in the presence of God. You can't afford to be spiritually passive when heaven has placed generational wealth, influence, and legacy into your care. Watch out for familiar spirits, those old cycles, people, and patterns that try to re-enter your life just as you begin to rise. These familiar spirits will come dressed in flattery, opportunity, or nostalgia, but their assignment is sabotage. Be alert. Everyone clapping for your blessing doesn't carry a pure heart. Some are monitoring spirits sent to distract, divide, or delay you. Guard yourself against financial predators, those who see your breakthrough as their survival plan. You are not a walking ATM. You are a kingdom financier. That means you must move with wisdom. Pray before you give. Fast before you fund. Ask God, is this a divine assignment or a spiritual distraction? Because not every need is yours to fill. Discernment is your shield. And don't ignore the whispers of spiritual sabotage. It won't always be loud. Sometimes it's a slow erosion of your convictions. A little compromise here, a delayed prayer life there, a gradual loosening of boundaries. But make no mistake, what the enemy can't block, he'll try to bleed. And that's why you must guard your inheritance not just with emotion, but with prayer, wisdom, and discipline. Your calendar must be guarded. Your relationships must be guarded. Your thoughts, your peace, your joy, everything connected to your calling must be covered in intentional warfare and spiritual alertness. But hear me now. The greatest threat isn't always outside. The most dangerous sabotage comes from within. And that's where we're going next. Because unless you conquer the enemy inside, pride, fear, insecurity, complacency, you'll never sustain what God just gave you. The next battle is not about what you fight. It's about who you become. Chapter 12, the final test. Can God still trust you? Will you still worship when you're winning? Chosen one, hear this in your spirit. The final test is not in the struggle. It's in the success. Anyone can worship when they're desperate, when the bills are due, when the doors are closed. But can you still worship when the doors fly open? When the overflow comes? When you're finally walking in everything you prayed for? Can God still trust you when you're winning? Luke 16 verse 10 tells us, "He who is faithful in little will also be faithful in much." And now much is coming. Influence, opportunity, prosperity, abundance. But this wealth, this favor, this supernatural elevation, it doesn't change you. It reveals you. It magnifies what was already within. If there was pride, it will swell. If there was gratitude, it will shine. If there was discipline, it will multiply. And if there was a pure heart, the blessing will become a river of glory to others. That's why you must stay rooted in Christ. Keep your feet planted in the soil of the Spirit. Keep your eyes fixed on the one who brought you here. Because the enemy's trap in this season won't be lack. It will be self-glory. It will be the temptation to take credit for what only God could do. It will whisper, "You made this happen, but you know better. You know that without His hand, you'd still be in the valley. Without His grace, you'd still be forgotten. So now you must become the river, not the reservoir." The blessing was never meant to stop with you. You were not blessed to become bloated with wealth. You were blessed to become a channel of transformation. Let it flow. Let it water dry places. Let it fund dreams, ignite ministries, build safe places for others. You are not the final destination. You are the distribution center of heaven. And here's the truth. God didn't give you this to see how high you'd climb. He gave it to see how deeply you'd stay grounded. Can He still trust you when the crowd is cheering? Can He still find you on your knees when the bank account is full? Will you still bow when you're blessed? Because now comes the moment that changes everything. The moment where you no longer beg for miracles, you become the miracle for others. The moment where you stop waiting for provision and start distributing it. The moment where God doesn't just answer your prayers. He sends you as the answer to someone else's. And in this next, final moment, you will no longer be the receiver. You'll step fully into your destiny as heaven's financier, a walking testimony of divine wealth, holy power, and supernatural purpose. Get ready, because what happens next is the activation. Your life will prove that God funds His chosen. Chosen one, this is the moment. This is not just the end of a message. It is the beginning of a movement inside of you. A spiritual switch has been flipped. Something has awakened in your soul. What you've heard in these last few minutes wasn't just information, it was impartation. It was the sound of heaven confirming what your spirit already suspected. You were born to fund the future. This wealth transfer isn't a theory. It's not hype. It's not a motivational slogan. It is a prophetic reality being unveiled in real time. And you, chosen one, are the proof. Your life is about to speak louder than your words ever could. You are about to become living evidence that when God anoints someone, He also funds them. That when heaven assigns a mission, heaven releases the provision. You are no longer asking for blessings, you are distributing them. You are no longer a dreamer, you are a deliverer of dreams for others. So right now, speak this out loud with boldness. Don't whisper it. Declare it into the atmosphere. Heaven is listening and hell is trembling. I receive divine wealth. not for self, but for legacy, ministry, and kingdom purpose. Say it again until your spirit feels it take root. Now repeat after me, word for word, as we seal this moment with prophetic truth. I am not chasing wealth. I'm walking in my assignment. God is my source, and heaven is my bank. I am a kingdom financier. I am anointed to fund purpose. Feel the weight of those words. Let them rewrite every doubt, silence every lie, and realign your identity with your inheritance. You are not ordinary. You are not average. You are not waiting to be chosen. You have already been appointed. And now we close with the word of God, the final stamp of heaven over your destiny. Now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we ask or think, according to the power that works in us. Ephesians 3 verse 20. Chosen one, this is the divine charge. Go, build, fund, distribute, influence, restore. You are the proof that God funds what he assigns. You are the evidence that favor still finds the faithful. You are the legacy shifter, the bloodline redeemer, the financier of kingdom vision. You've cried enough. You've waited long enough. Now it's time to move in power. If this word was for you, if your spirit leapt and your heart burned, comment 777 right now. That number is a divine sign of completion, spiritual alignment, and supernatural release. Let heaven and earth witness your agreement. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more divine downloads. And share this with someone whose family won't believe what's coming next. But God already confirmed it. Your season has begun. Heaven funded it. And nothing can stop what God just released over your life.